Greetings and salutations. My name is Colin Moriarty. This is the illustrious Greg Miller in his pink salmon shirt.
Go Missouri Tigers. I think it would just be pink or salmon.
First down. Right, Greg?
It would be pink or salmon.
Pink or salmon?
Pink salmon.
Pink salmon. There's got to be a salmon that's not pink, right? I don't know. Greg, we're here at the PlayStation Experience, the first annual PlayStation Experience, the inaugural PlayStation Experience. We're here at a little pre-show. She's seen some games, see some Bloodborne, see some Until Dawn, see some The Order 1886.
And those videos are up on IGN right now.
Oh, they certainly are. But there are 3 games I want to talk about right now in the video, Greg. One of them is Fat Princess Adventures, which is right behind us. Greg, she's back.
She's back.
She's back with a vengeance.
I mean, let's just get it out on the table. There are no bigger fans of Fat Princess than you and I.
No.
I mean, I flipped out for it on PlayStation 3. Even on PSP, I was a big fan of it. The Team IGN we like Fat Princess quite a bit.
Very much.
So it was a huge surprise to come in and see the logo pop up on screen and go, but it's not the Fat Princess we knew.
No. This is a Fat Princess game that's not necessarily online. You can play it by yourself or with 4 players, but it's not the same kind of team beat 'em up. You're trying to get the princess, back to your castle. It has nothing really to do with that. Now it's more of a kind of a brawler, I would say.
I called it a very cute Diablo.
No, very cute.
And they were all like, "That's a great idea." And then GameSpot was like, "I'm gonna steal that," and I was like, "I'll kill you, Danny O'Dwyer."
No, that's no good.
Yeah.
So there are 4 classes. You can be like a mage and an archer and a warrior and an engineer.
You can change them at any checkpoint, which I thought was really cool.
It is cool. And you can eat cake. You can eat too much cake.
Yeah.
Turn into a chicken. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in this game. Right?
Yeah. Well, if you eat too much cake, you get into this huge fat baby mode that just runs around and smashes everything. The Greg Miller mode, they call it.
Right.
And then there's magic that'll turn you into chicken. Yeah, all these different things. But yeah, it's that brawler. It's that collection. It's get gold, get this, level up yourself, level up your weapons, you level up your gear, do all these different things. It seems cutesy on top, but then you get down and it's like, well, this is a dungeon crawler I could sink a lot of time into.
Yeah, and of course the cutesy aesthetic of Fat Princess was always complemented by the gore of Fat Princess.
The blood's still there.
And that's what I love. I love the kind of the dichotomy, as it were, between those 2 different things. So that's coming to PlayStation 4 in 2015. Keep an eye out for it. I asked about it on Vita. Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. They don't know.
On remote play, everything's
on Vita now on remote play. The second game I want to talk about, which I'm really excited about, or at least was until I played it, was Resogun on Vita.
I haven't played it yet. You were excited.
No.
What the hell happened? # Colin was right.
All right, so Resogun's the best game on PlayStation 4 by a mile. Everyone knows that, right, Greg?
It's Universe Online.
And it's almost a borderline perfect arcade game, right?
Yes.
And on Vita, it's not quite the same. Now they had to squeeze this game that was very, very complicated, very complex technically, and get it on the Vita. So they had to make some concessions. So it's not as pretty for sure. It looks a little washed out, and it doesn't run as fast. So when I was playing it, I didn't quite develop the same rhythm, the same cadence, as it were, when I was playing as I played it on PS4. Now, it might take some time for me to get used to it. The good news is that when I played Dead Nation Apocalypse Edition on Vita, I didn't really like it because the sticks were a little too small.
Right.
That's not really a problem here. The game plays fine. It just doesn't play quite like Resogun on PS4, and that disappoints me a little bit. I'm not quite sure why they even brought it to PS4, or to Vita rather.
Wow, that's a blow to every Resogun fan.
Well, Housemarque to me is one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated developer in the entire industry. Obviously, they didn't port this game over themselves. They had another studio do it, and I'm sure they're doing the best they can. And Resogun Anywhere is probably going to be better than Resogun Nowhere.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think the game's going to be most at home on PS4, and I'm super, super, super excited about continuing to play it on PS4. Especially because they announced DLC today, more DLC, which is very, very, very exciting. So yeah, wait and see with Resogun on Vita.
All right.
It just doesn't seem like the Resogun experience that I was hoping for. And then there's a third game, Greg.
There is.
Tell me about it.
It's Tearaway Unfolding. Now, if you remember, if you're a Podcast Beyond or just IGN fan, it's been murky what's happening with this Tearaway. Yeah. It came out, and they had a confusing E3 presentation where they're like, it isn't a port, but it is the original. It's a retelling of the game built from the ground up, but it's still a retelling of the whatever. I sat down, I finally got to play it with the DualShock 4, the touchpad, everything else, and it's more Tearaway. My problem with Tearaway on the Vita, like I always said, is I felt like levels were empty. I totally dug the cardboard aesthetic, you know what I'm saying here.
Paper craft.
What's the construction paper aesthetic of it? Yeah. I got there in the end.
Yeah.
One of the best
with using
ever.
the scissors that had the little protectors on them when you were in school. Yeah,
exactly. But I felt like levels looked empty. They weren't filled in. That's not a problem in the PlayStation 4 from what I'm seeing right now in Unfolding. You have these levels, they're popping with color and action and things, and they're going. It's interesting to see how they've done away with it, right? Because one of the cool things about the Vita version was hitting through the back and your fingers would come through the screen and move it, and like now there's drums, you're hitting the center pad, you're making people jump around like that. The squirrels are still there, they're still cute. It's more Tearaway, but I was never the biggest Tearaway fan. So I'm still not jazzed about it, but if you were, then hey, it's more Tearaway.
I mean, I haven't played it on PS4. I wasn't the biggest Tearaway fan on Vita either. I think it's a cool game, a nice concept.
Yeah.
One thing I did say, and I feel, even though it's sad to see Vita lose one of its only big exclusives, it's kind of a shame to lock one of Media Molecule's games onto a platform that no one's really playing. So
Right.
I am happy in that way that it's coming to PS4 so people can experience it again. I still really want, it's a little murky, right? I want some little more clarity on what the hell this game actually is, though. Is it like a 1.5 version? Is it a port with some extra content?
Yeah, it's the
I
same
don't really
story.
know.
So are they narrating over the top of it? I don't know. Can't tell anything.
We'll figure it out. Greg.
I was
That's-
in a barn. I was in a barn.
you were
Some
in a barn.
crows had chased me into a barn.
Oh, dear.
And I don't remember the canon of the original Tearaway to tell you if that's the crows, man.
I don't know, dude. That's very complicated. So here we are at the inaugural PlayStation experience.
First annual.
First annual PlayStation experience. We're gonna be here all weekend. Some PS4 games, some Vita games. If you're lucky, maybe even some PlayStation 3 games, Greg. Maybe
I
not.
don't count
Maybe
that. I
not.
don't count that as luck.
No.
Yeah.
All right, so for more on all things PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita, PlayStation 3, PlayStation Network,
PSP
PlayStation
Go.
Morpheus, PSP Go, PS1, the gray one that you had the little screen on top of
Yep.
it.
Oh, yeah.
And the aborted PlayStation add-on for SNES. Keep it tuned. Taji.